What is my first basic condition? I should stay in India for a period of 182 days or more during previous year. So I have not satisfied my first basic condition. When any person who fails to satisfy both the basic condition, automatically his status will be non-resident and there is no need to verify additional conditions. Warm welcome to 5th Sem BBA student. The subject we are discussing Income Tax 1 and the Unit 2 Residential Status and Incidence of Tax. In this chapter, from the first session, we have learned about what is the meaning of residence and resident, not an ordinary resident and even non-resident. And this status is calculated only for the purpose of tax purpose and not for the citizenship purpose. And it is considered only for particular year and not for the entire other years of preceding or future succeeding previous year, whatever we are going to see in our life. See, this concept is only for the income tax purpose and not for other purposes. I am Professor Rajesh L.R. from Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In our previous session, we have solved the problems and we came to know how to identify the residential status of a resident, ordinary resident, a resident, not ordinary resident, a resident of non-resident. This is nothing but when any person doesn't satisfy any of the condition, he will be called as a non-resident. In today's session, again, we have considered 2 points here and 2 problems which you can understand the concepts easily. First, I'm Mr. Bhaskar. My citizenship is India, where I left India for the first time on 22nd July 2020 and returned back to India on 11th March 2021. In the year 1/4/2022 to 31st March 21, I was not in India from 22nd July to 11th March. So first time I left in the year 2020-21. Before that, I was in India. And after that, I was in India. During previous year, 10th April 2022, I left India and I returned back to India on 25th February 2023. So now we have to check residential status for previous year 2022-23. Now, name of the assessee. Name of the assessee. Name of the assessee, we have to write it here, Mr. Bhaskar. Mr. Bhaskar. Next, date of leaving India. Date of leaving India. Date of returning back. Date of returning back to India. Date of leaving India and date of returning back to India. This is in the year 2020-21 and year 2022-23. So now, date of leaving India in 2020-21. See, when I left India on 22nd July 2020 and I returned back on 11th March. So here 22nd July 2020 I left and I returned back on 11th March 2021. And during 2022-23, I left India on 10th April. I left India on 10th April 2022 and returned back on 25th March 2023. 25th February 2023, I returned back. So now we have to identify what is the residential status of the Bhaskar. So now, solution. For previous year 2022-23, there are 365 days are there. In this 365 days, how many days I stayed in India? So when I left India during previous year, 10th April 2022. I left India on 10th April 2022 and I returned back on 25th February 2023. So 10th April means I was in India for a period of 9 days. May, I was not in India. June, I was not in India. July, I was not in India. August, I was not in India. September, I was not in India. October, I was not in India. November, I was not in India. December, I was not in India. January, I was not in India. February 25th, I have written, means 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. I was in India for 4 days in February and 31 days in the month of March. So now, how many days? 9, 13. So totally, I was in India for a period of 43 days. How many days I was in India during previous year, 22-23? In the month of April, I was 9 days. In the month of February, I was in India for 4 days and March, 31 days. So what is my first basic condition? I should stay in India for a period of 182 days or more during previous year. So I have not satisfied my first basic condition. So what is the thing we have here? During previous year, 2022-23, where I left India on 10th April and I returned back 25th February. In the month of April, I was 9 days in India, and from May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, I was not in India. I was not in India. And again, I returned back on 25th February, means 25, 26, 27, 28, 4 days I was in India. And thereafterwards, I was in India. That is nothing but March. I was in India for a period of 9 plus 4, 13, 13 plus 31, 44 days I was in India. So 44 days I was in India during previous year. So I couldn't satisfy my first basic condition. I couldn't satisfy my first basic condition. So what is my other basic condition we have here? During previous year, stay in India for a period of 60 days. See, how many days are they? 60. I've stayed in India for 44 days. So I've not satisfied both the basic conditions. During previous year, 22-23, Mr. Bhaskar failures to satisfy both basic condition. Therefore, his residential status will be non-resident. When any person who fails to satisfy both the basic condition, automatically his status will be non-resident, and there is no need to verify additional conditions. Second problem number 8. I'm Vishnu, where I left India for the first time on 6th April 2019 and returned back on 10th September 2021. During previous year, I left India on 11th May 2022 and returned back on 30th March 2023. So what is my residential status? So what we have to write here? Name of the assessee. Name of the assessee. Name of the assessee, we have to write Mr. Vishnu. Mr. Vishnu. Which is our previous year? Previous year is 1st April 2022 to 31st March 2023. And which is my assessment year? 1st April 2023 to 31st March 2024. These are the information what we have to write. And then date of leaving India. Date of returning back. Date of returning back to India. date of returning back to India, date of returning back to India. When I left for the first time on 6th April 2019, first I left and I returned back on 10th September 2021. 10th September 2021, I returned back. Again, I left India on 11th May 2022. I left India on 11th May 2022, returned back on 30th March 2023. So now, based on this information, we have to identify the residential status of Mr. Vishnu. Let us consider here. Now, previous year, we have 365 days. That is from 1st April 2022 to 31st March 2023. We have totally 365 days are there. Now, I left India on 11th May 2022 during previous year and returned back to India on 30th March 2023. May means I'm leaving. April, I was in India. 11th, I left means in the month of May, I was in India for 10 days. June, I was not there. July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. March 30th, I've returned back means 30th and 31st. 2 days I was in India. 30, 40 plus 2, 42 days. So I was in India for a period of 42 days during previous year. That is, during previous year, I was 42 days. I was not there for 365. So what is the condition we have here? Stay in India for a period of 182 days or more during previous year. I have not satisfied my first basic condition. What is my second basic condition we have here? What was the first one? Stay in India for a period of 180 days, where I have stayed for 42 days. I have not satisfied. Second one, stay in India for a period of 60 days. I have not satisfied. So automatically my status will be non-resident. During previous year 2022-23, Mr. Vishnu stayed in India for a period of 42 days and failures to satisfy both the basic condition. Therefore, his residential status will be non-resident. So I couldn't satisfy both the basic condition because he stayed in India only for a period of 42 days and he couldn't satisfy both the basic conditions during previous year. Automatically his status will be non-resident. So whenever any person who fails to satisfy both the conditions, he will be called as a non-resident only for that particular year and not for other years. Only for previous year 2022-23, his state is non-resident. And when he couldn't satisfy both the basic condition, there is no need to verify additional condition. So here the Income Tax Act decides that one, the status of Mr. Vishnu for previous year 22-23 is non-resident only for the purpose of tax and not for other purposes. So in today's session, we learned that one, if a person fails to satisfy both the basic conditions, so what will be his status? When any person fails to satisfy both the basic conditions, automatically we are going to call him as a non-resident for that particular previous year. So if people have got the information, when we are going to call a person as a non-resident, when a person fails to satisfy both the basic conditions. Thank you to all my 5th sem BBA students. And in previous session and in this session, we learned thoroughly about the non-resident status of a person. When a person will be called as a non-resident, when he failures to satisfy both the basic conditions, automatically he'll be called as non-resident for that particular year. Namaste to all my 5th sem BBA students.